Are you, who's asking this question? Can I show hand? Are your team, okay. Are you asking the qualities from a good upline, or are you asking that of yourself? How to be a good upline?
How to be a good upline.
How to be a good upline? I would say this. How would you, see, when we're in a business for ourselves, how would you lead yourself? I always go from within ourselves first. So how would you, when you engage in a business, how do you motivate yourself to work? So you start with that. I'll give you a more concrete example. Okay, when I first started my business, then we need to first make money. We need to create a story. We need to have two stories, right? We need to have a check story and a product story. So the first thing we do is we got to use a product, right? So people can see. And then second thing is I need to make money. So what do? I need to go start talking to people. So to be a good upline is no different. Let's say that I sponsored you. So I will share with you the things I do. Now, will I push you? No, I won't. Because if I push you, it doesn't do any good. You gotta find that when you find the right people, they will do what you do. But because if you have to constantly push people and motivate people, you're being a nanny. You're babysitting. You guys with me so far? I mean, I remember, 8 years ago, there's 4 people that I work with. I tell them, I said, listen, if you don't work, I'm going to go find those who will work. But I am here for you. So I will guide them in what to do. I said, look, your first 30 days is line up all the people, entrepreneurs, people that want to make money. And you can bring them to me and we'll talk. But will I call them every day? I won't. Because see, what you're looking for is looking for people that want to build something. But if people have certain ideas of, they're doing really well in their business and they're not open or whatever, I leave them alone. Are you guys with me so far? So how to be a good upline, how to lead. People say, well, how do I become a good leader? It's like how to be a good upline, right? I would say, how would you lead yourself to work every day? And I will start with that. How you lead yourself is how you lead other people. We can't expect other people to do the things when we don't do ourselves. You see what I'm saying? People say, well, how come my business is stuck? How come my business is where it should be? I said, well, listen, what are you doing every day? What do you do every day? See, when we examine our very own activities, then we know what to expect from other people. You can't expect other people to do what you don't do. Just that would be my thing. Okay, now next is how do you deal with burnout other than coming back to your why? Practical tips. How do you deal with burnout? Meaning you yourself burn out? How do you deal with burnout? Well, depends what kind of burnout. I mean, can you give me a specific example of burnout? Who wrote that? Can you give me a specific example? Okay.
When we are constantly rejected by people,
Uh-huh.
where we really meant well for them, intended well, thought that this could help them to. When we are
Rejection.
constantly, hit by rejection.
Yeah.
And when we really put in efforts to go through the number,
Yeah.
and constantly knock down, hit
Okay.
by the rejection rocket. So when we experience a burnout stage. So what is the top secret that we can always go back to our why? That will be the biggest motivator. But beside that, is there any other secret to stay resilient?
I think you know the answer. We all do. We all do. How do we deal with burnouts? Do I get burnouts? Do we get rejections? We all do. It's how you look at those rejections. How many rejections are we speaking of? It's very interesting. I mean, if we really, really think about it, I mean, I hear this a lot. Oh my gosh, all my friends rejected me. All of them say no to me. I burned out my network. I have nobody else no more. I said, well, how many are we talking about?
From my own warm market, and even the new people that I meet, that where I put in efforts to build.
How many? 100?
No.
Okay. 50?
About 50, yeah.
About 50, okay. You know, we have a saying in our industry that you are one recruit away from explosion. What if after 50, see, you gotta have that trust factor. Trust in that you are destined to succeed. So what if your number 51 is a Ibu Jenny? What if your number 60 is a Harris Tank? What if your number 80 is a Patrick? Okay, I can give you an example. You know, do we have any realtors? People sell real estate in the audience? Any realtors? You guys have realtors in here in Indonesia?
Real estate.
Real estate, realtors, okay. You guys what do you call it? Brokers?
Property agent.
Property agent, okay. Now we call it realtors back home, okay. But either way, so in real estate, property agents, every home you show, is it guaranteed a sale? No. Sometimes you show houses after houses, you open house, right? You show home after home, and sometimes if you find a client that like the home, they might not qualify to purchase the home. At least that's how it works in the States. So do you give up? No, you don't. You see, when you know what you're after, you have to understand. I will give you some tips on how to overcome that. But at the same time, when you know what you're going after, what you're looking for, tell me, when you talk to people, what are you looking for?
My first wish is to get them to see what I see, the potential of what Genius is able to offer.
Okay.
So usually what I do is I will find out their needs.
Okay.
It can be product or it can be people who are looking for more in life, typically financial.
And what are you looking for?
For me, I'm looking for two things, either consumer or business builder.
Okay. I would suggest this. To build, if you're going to spend time to build a business, I'm out there looking for entrepreneurial-minded people that want to build something. See, if you have put that thought out there, that I am out there looking for business builders. If I had to spend time to look for consumers, I'm wasting my time. Because, and in doing the process of looking for people that want to build a business, when they say no to the business, at least I get a consumer out of them. You understand? If I go looking for consumer and they say no to my product, then I have no more chance for entrepreneurs. Are you guys, you with me so far? So if you know that, look, when I'm going to talk to somebody, I'm out there looking for a business partner. I'm out there looking for someone that built internet to help me build within a big conglomerate, with building my business within their business, with a big conglomerate. That's what I'm looking for. I think when you talk to your people or your prospect, having clarity of what you're looking for is important. So understanding that you're out there looking for another entrepreneur just like yourself. I will start with that. Because if we are like, oh, I'm looking for either a consumer or a business partner, it just lacks a clarity. Because when you talk to people, people can feel it. You say, listen, you know what, I came across an amazing platform that allows me to work from home and put in my flexible time, but at the same time, I can participate in this global economy. See, you gotta talk the big picture. And so that's what you're looking for. You don't need a whole lot of people. Look, if you really, are you willing, let me ask you this question. Are you willing to go through 500 people if your 501 person is an Yvonne Yan? Are you willing to go through that? That'll solve your problem. It's out there. It is out there. Are you willing to go through 1,000 people to find someone like me? It's out there. You see, it's not that I'm good. It's I am able to bring other people that are better than me. But see, when you trust the law of number, It's really, there's in a number that's called the law of averages, right? You know how you overcome the law of averages? It's one law, called the law of large numbers. Trust me, 20 years ago, I've done this. When I first got into this industry, they say, the law of average, and I didn't understand what it means, And so back in 20 years ago, my first company back in the States, in the 80s, in America, back in the old days, we only have one telephone company, long distance company. When we call from America to Singapore to Indonesia, we have to use one telecom company. And so back in the 80s, the American government had deregulated it. That means they allow other telecom company to get into the marketplace. So I was working with that company. And so they said the law of average. I go, what does that mean? So you know what? And I went to all my Walmart, and then I told my sponsor I burned down my Walmart. So I want to test the law of average. And so what I did back then was I get a clipboard, because we had to switch customer from the monopoly to the smaller guys, right? So I went to a flea market. We call it swap meet back at home, okay? So I went to swap meet, and I was trying to switch customers. So I tell you what, if I was willing to go through 100 people, I would get 10 customers. But the thing is, you don't know when the 10 will come. My very first one could come on the 30th, asking. Maybe to some other people, the first one would come on the 40th asking. But if you're willing to go through 100, you get 10. Just the law of average. And then I let a team of people to do the same thing, and we did a whole statistic thingy. And it's a law of average. But you must be willing to go through the number. Some people quit way too early. Some people quit at the 38. Because after 38 people, they haven't gotten one yet, and they quit. But if you're willing to go through the number, you'll get it. And so that's tip number one. Okay? Tip number two is the way in which you ask. The way in which you approach people. There are different things. And I can share with you, some of the stuff we're going to go over tomorrow at the training. But I can share with you this. A lot of times people think that your sponsor or your leader can do magic. I think the way in which we prep the situation, the way in which we approach our prospect or we prep the situation is very important to set the stage for the prospect to the openness and the readiness to look at the opportunity. And so I'll give you one perfect example. I have somebody that are new in the business, but he was so desperate and so eager to get somebody to look at the business. So he thought that by just having them to talk to me, then automatically I'll get them in the business. It doesn't work like that. So long story short, this person asked, say, hey, you know what? Would you be open to talk to my upline with whatever, right? And so the person told my friend this thing, which I didn't know what he told him. So long story short, then this person said, Kim, this person's ready for you. He's open to talk to you. So then I texted this person. I said, listen, my friend said that you're interested in looking at our platform, and that maybe perhaps, I have this hour open and I can give you a ring. And this person said, no, that's not what I told your friend. I told your friend that my plates are full. If she called me, she may be wasting her time. Now that's very different than but it's not his fault, but it's just the way things work out. Because we seem to be so eager to get somebody to put in front of the upline or to put in front of somebody. So the way in which we prep a situation, we approach a prospect is very important. So we'll go over some of this detail tomorrow, okay? But at least I want to make sure I address, part of it. Are you getting it? Is it better? Does it help you? All right, very good. Now I need my reading glasses.
Oke, teman-teman, ini karena waktu yang sangat singkat, tolong mungkin alat makan semua bisa ditaruh dulu karena dari tadi kita dengar di depan ini berisik sekali. Jadi kita appreciate time yang sangat berharga ini. Put down semuanya dulu, jadi perhatikan apa yang mau disampaikan Kim. Oke, next.
What did you say?
I say
Too noisy.
stop eating.
Oh, no, don't worry about it. No, it's okay, it's okay.
It's noisy.
Oh, okay. If it doesn't bother you, it doesn't bother me, okay? So, we're really casual in the States, so don't worry about it. All right. But thank you, though. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Okay, let's go. How much time should we spend on networking events, meeting new people? You know, okay. There's no standard of operation. I mean, how much time? I don't know, until you get the right people. Are you with me so far? Is this a Singaporean that wrote this? Must be Singaporean. Okay? I know how it works. I've lived in Singapore for a while, okay? You know, it's interesting. I mean, Singapore is very, it's good. It's very structured. You know, we need like, you know.
Guilty.
It's okay. I mean, it's all good. You know, look, guys, it's really all good. I don't know. I mean, first of all, I myself don't go to networking events. Even though I know oftentimes we say, you know what, I burned out all my network, all my friends said no to me, you know, until now, 20-somewhat years later, I have not burned out my network. And people say, well, I'm going to keep because you're very outgoing. Opposite. I am an introvert. I don't say a whole lot of words. Like if you sit at the dinner, the one that talk a whole lot is Patrick. Really, he's like a peacock. I mean, he just like, he loves to talk. So you do that at training, you know. He's a social butterfly, okay? Harris and me, on the other hand, we're very quiet. When I'm alone, I'm very quiet. But when it's business, you know, you just, I don't have a whole lot of friends because I'm not a social butterfly. But when it comes to business, I make an effort. Because the way I look at it is, I am out there looking for entrepreneurs. I'm looking for people out there that want to help me. Together, we build an international business. So as far as how much time I should spend, I don't know. How much time do you want to spend? Finding the right people. It's a matter of, you don't, look, I always tell people, you don't need to find a whole lot of people. If you find one good one, you know, you could be sad. If you're lucky, you find two good ones, then you'll be maxing out. One on the left, one on the right, right? So there's no how much time, you know.
That's very interesting that you said, you know, that you have not exhausted the warm market.
I have not.
Even though you don't
20-somewhat years.
actively meet a lot of new
Yeah,
people.
let me kind of clarify a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, there are those that have rejected us in the past, or that misunderstood what we do. You can always go back to them. Or maybe perhaps now you gain a different insight about what is that you do. Then you now go back to them with a whole different approach. So that's why I would say I have not exhausted all my warm market yet, until now. So of course there were those that had rejected me in the past. Then you can, if I choose to, if I want to, I can always go back to them. I said, listen, you know what, the thing that I told you about is absolutely amazing. So you can always go back to them. So I have not exhausted that, number one. Number two is that your warm market, you are constantly adding to it. It's like an assembly line. Because you always, if you are hungry, you want to meet people, you will always go out there and meet new people. Like for example, you know, many years ago, when I first got into the industry, I got laid off, I got downsized, right? And so what I do every day, and I told my sponsor, the people that I work with, I said, listen, you know what? People that went to MBA, you know, people went to master's school, went to classes, university with me, that worked with me in the past, they all said no to me. What do I do? And I was hungry. So you know what I did? I would go to department stores. And I didn't have money to shop at that time because I was, you know, I got laid off and I had no income coming. But I would go to the department counter and I would talk to the lady and start a little conversation. I said, you know what? I love your attitude. You are so helpful. I have no intention to buy because I had no money at that time. I said, you know what? You must pay a lot of money doing what you do. So, well, no, not really. Well, listen, you know what? I know a friend of mine who has a business looking for people just like you. Entrepreneurial-minded people. If you're open, we can exchange contact information. We'll talk later. So what do we do? Now, you know, some people might not want to give you their phone number, but email is a little bit non-threatening. So they will say, we can exchange email, and then we'll talk later, because I know you're at work, but I love your attitude. And so you add that email into one of your pipelines. So you start making contacts. Now, that is I don't teach people to go cold market, but that is a slower approach. Because let's say if I met her, and she's the cosmetic counter, if I talk to her, and by the way, I want to create an impression, and I praise her first, and I'll say, well, by the way, my name is Kim, okay? So we'll be in contact. So I want to put a seed in there that she remembers my name, Kim, okay? So then what I do then is I go home and I start a conversation. Now, usually when you go from a quote-unquote cold market, you make it lukewarm, right? So you develop a little relationship, and then you go then show the opportunity to them. But that takes a little process, that takes a little time. Versus if you go with people that you know there's a trust factor among the two of you, then at least it's much easier to close a case. But with the cold market, because you add, later on you show the business and all that, it requires them taking the money out. So that takes a little longer process. Okay, so I mean, if you're really hungry, you constantly go out there and adding to your pipeline, filling up your pipeline, your contacts. Okay, so okay, all right, good. Okay, now one more question. Are we done? Only one piece of paper? Oh my gosh! I need to speed it up. Okay. All right. Okay. Do many of the builders come from warm market or warm? Who asked this question? Singaporean? Okay. Do many of the builders come from warm market or cold markets? I could tell you from experience, 100% of my builders, 100% came from warm market. Now, Harris, all the people you talk to, did they come from warm market or cold market?
Warm market.
Patrick, warm market or cold market?
Warm market.
Answered? All right, very good. Okay, warm market. Okay, next. Are these very small handwriting? English. Okay. For 8th year in your journey in Jeunesse, have you ever feel down, worried, up and down, hesitated doing business, Jeunesse? Oh yes. Okay. Okay. All right. If you ever feel like this, how can you do? How can you do? Because sometimes I feel like this. Nana, where are you, Nana? All right, very good. It's part of life. Everyday life, ups and downs. How many have kids? Some days you should love your kids to death. You are so good, such a good boy or such a good girl. And sometimes a little naughty thing just drive you crazy. Right? It's just life. You understand? It's like also, it's like, to me, it's like parenting. Kids are growing up at a certain stage, you think you got it all. It's like, wow, I finally got it down, Then they go to the next stage of growth, you go, oh my gosh, I'm in a whole new thing again. So it's just, you gotta keep the even keel. Meaning, you understand why you're doing this for, who you're doing this for. Especially the business we're in, when people's business, right? There's emotions involved. And it's just part of life. It's part of the cost of doing business, I suppose. It's just like going to a job. How many of you love your job every single day of your life at your job? Most people don't. Some days you love your job, some days you just hated it. But people still go to work, right? If I were to tell you, you know what, I love every single day of my 8th year, I'm just kidding you, okay? It didn't happen, okay? But, there are days I say, you know what, I've had it. There are days I just, you know what, I've had, when I'm at that situation, sometimes I take a walk, sometimes I go to treadmill, sometimes I just go meditate, sometimes go chill out, sometimes just go to a movie, whatever it is to get your mind out of it, and just snap out of it, and then come back and do your thing. Yeah. So, it's part of life. It's just life, Okay, all right. Next. All right. To recruit might be easy, but to make people want to do the business is a challenge, true. Especially for those who are already successful, have lots of businesses. I would agree with the first part. Is it Penny or Rainy? Huh? Rainy, okay. To recruit is easy. To get them to go to work is a little challenge. Absolutely true. Okay? Especially those who are successful. Not really true. And I'll tell you why. Look at Ibu. She has money. Depending on how you want to define success. And most people right now gauge success by how much money they have. Well, she has a lot more money than I do. And so, but she's crazier than I do. I am. Doing Jeunesse. And so, here's what I found out. Successful people make time for something that's meaningful to them. My husband runs before. I mean, long time ago, he worked in a hospital in the daytime and nighttime. I mean, afternoon, his own medical practice. But my husband is so involved in the community that he goes out every single weekend, and sometimes on a Saturday and a Sunday, he will attend 4 events at a time. And I'm like, talk about busy. That guy's busy. I mean, he's busier than me. But he makes time for those things because it's meaningful to him. And so from his example, I learned when something is meaningful to you or to somebody, they will make time for it. And I can tell you, like 80% of people in Los Angeles that we work with, we started in LA, 80% of people are traditional business owners and professionals. But they make time for this because they see value, they see the vision of what they're doing this. So I think to recruit somebody, depending on how you recruit, oh, I love the product is so good. Then quote unquote, you recruited them. But you didn't enroll them into the vision doing this. So I guess recruiting and enrolling them into a vision. Now, getting the vision, some people just are born with it. They grab it right away. Some people it takes a little time to warm up, to enroll in the process. And so what is the best way to enroll people in the vision is to get yourself out of the way. Because sometimes the friends that you talk to, they look at you as a gauge of that's their measuring stick of what the business represents. So sometimes we have to get ourselves out of the way and let other people outside of yourself to showcase or to share the vision of what this business represents. You guys can use, there's many success stories on the USGS official channel. You can use other people, use my journey, or you can talk about your local leaders. Use their example and also have them plug into the company event or the local event. Because when they come see outside of you, they go, you know what? Now I see possibilities. I see people from all walks of life doing this. So their imagination begin to spark rather than getting everything from you. And so sometimes people feel bad. They go, how come I can't enroll them in a vision? It's just human nature. Not because you're any good or any not good. No. Just because their perception, they see you for who you are or who they think you are. And then therefore they label this opportunity as what they think they saw through you. Therefore, it's very effective if you plug them into the system, have them look at you send them different links or have them plug into local events. Why do we always say that we do from event to event to event? Because through event, it helps broaden your prospect or your new recruit, broaden their horizon, broaden the vision of what this opportunity represents. Because think about this. If you were to break the new, sometimes people have a negative connotation of what network marketing is or what this thing is. Well, I tell you what, if you were to break, look at an event like this. We literally have people from all walks of life. We have people that actually took a 3-hour bus from the little town to Sydney, and then take hours to fly to Singapore, and take hours to fly to here. And then there are people from Singapore, from all walks of life. Some of you are loaded, some of you are very successful, but you're still here. So if you were to expose your people into an event like this, they go, oh my gosh, it's no longer what I think it is. So then that will help them engage in part of the vision, and then they will go to work rather than just being quote unquote recruited. You guys understanding? So that's why it's important to understand, to get people to participate, go to attend events after event, because through different events, it helps open up the horizon, open up the perception of what it is they got a hold of. Okay, next one. Did I answer your question? Very good. Okay.
This one I should translate.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Kim, when you start the next business, what makes you believe this business will grow big? And at that time, there's no testimonial, there's no sapphire, ruby, emerald, or diamond. What makes you believe in Jeunesse?
It wasn't Jeunesse I believed in. It was me that I believed in. Truly. I really believe God put us on earth to do something. And we are born with just a potential. It's up to each and every single one of us to nurture that seed and let it sprout and let the potential come out. I didn't know if Jeunesse will last. I didn't know if the product worked. But I believed I was destined to do something in this lifetime. So I went to work. See, a lot of times people go, well, what happened if it failed? What happened if the company closed? Well, you know what? I ask people, if you work a job, what happened if your company closed? You go for another job, right?
Yeah.
True or not true?
Yes.
If your business didn't make it, what you do? You try to open another business. Well, same thing. Jeunesse is a vehicle. But that seed, that belief is within ourselves. I believe I'm destined for greatness. I believe I'm going to be big. Jeunesse was my vehicle. And I hope and pray that it worked. And it did. And it worked beautifully. So, all right. Did I answer your question? Oh, please. You guys are on. Come on up. There's no free lunches.